is going on, everybody? Welcome to the live show. We have not done a live show quite a while, actually. Let me think back. I think all the way back, maybe back in January, maybe even earlier than that. I think really the last live show I did, besides doing a game broadcast, it's probably when I did the Commanders Q&A, which only lasted like 7 minutes, so that doesn't really count. But I mean, it's been about a year, and I'm happy to be doing this again. Hopefully, I'll be able to do Monday Night Football tonight, because my streaming software has been, acting up a little bit, but that's okay, because that's part of the reason why I haven't been able to do a live stream in a few months. But we're trying today. It's going pretty good so far. But first, for the first like 40 minutes before the game starts, I want to address the past couple weeks between the Jets and their flaws, their successes. I just want to discuss that. The Jets Jaguars game really, for me, it really made me happy for a week. And then it all obviously depleted yesterday with the Rams game. We lost 19-9, unfortunately, in a very, very, very broken game. We started off hot in the first half and then depleted right in the second half. Lost 19-9. And we were up 9-6 too. We were having a very good defense. Defense was on fire. Defense was back to the 2022 and 2023 defense. On fire. They were back to their old selves for the first half, and then the second half comes in and they deplete right then and there. But, as I said, the Jaguars game did make me happy. We scored. Finally, we got into the 30 range. We finally scored past 30 points against Jacksonville, and scored 30, or we won 32-25. That made me very happy. But the thing that kind of made me annoyed was the game that was meaningless was the game that Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams had their best game together. We could have used that in Pittsburgh, could have used that in New England, could have used that Seattle. Well, Seattle, they had a pretty good game together until we, crap the bed. Could have used that against the Colts. Could have used it really anywhere. And then I would say their second best game together was probably Houston. I want to say either Houston or Seattle. I would probably want to say. But Jacksonville was definitely their number one best game together. I do think that they have great chemistry. I think the chemistry has been getting back to where it used to be. And I do believe that they will get back on the page soon if they come back next year, which I want to talk about that real quick as well. Do you guys think Aaron Rodgers or Davante Adams will come back next year? I say yes. I say Rodgers will return with the team. I know some Jet fans are thinking that's a bit of a stretch. I'm sort of second guessing it as well, but I do believe he'll eventually find his way back here. So will Davante Adams. Now, Garrett Wilson, on the other hand, that's something that I am concerned about. I don't want him to leave the team. I think he's a key aspect of this team. However, I do think Wilson is very frustrated, and I do think unfortunately, he will leave the team this year. Maybe even along with Breece Hall. And I do not want any of those players to leave. Because if we get on the right track and we're back in business, which we never have been, I don't know why I'm saying back in business. We were never in business in the first place. I honestly, this is, in my honest opinion, if we're still under, I think I said this in my last video actually, if we're under Woody Johnson's ownership, I don't think we're getting anywhere at all, no matter what draft pick we have, no matter what coach we have, no matter what general manager we have. And the only optimistic thing I could say under Woody Johnson's rule was the 2010 playoffs, 2009 playoffs, 2015 near playoffs. Those were a few good glimpses. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of that. Rex Ryan, wink, wink. Maybe you want to come back to the team. Ben Johnson, wink, wink, come to the team. Even Bill Belichick reached out, but of course the Jets said no because they're idiots for that. I think that's an idiotic move to say no to Bill Belichick. I honestly think it is. You have the greatest coach, arguably the greatest head coach of all time in NFL. But I mean, then now he's at UNC, which I hope he does great there. But I do think what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Oh, after the 2015 season, the last really good season we have, it ended up being a very disappointing season for me. Probably the most depressing. I know I would say this is the most depressing season of all time, but the reason why this right specific thing was so depressing that I'm about to say was because of the disappointment that came along with it. And that was the second half of the 2022 season. We started off 7-4. I went to the Chicago Bears game. I went to the Jets Bears game that year where they beat them 31-10 with Mike White in the rain. That was the last good Jets game they had that year. And they easily remember I actually did a video last video I did if the Jets stayed alive in their games they'd be like 12-3, 11-3, whatever it was right now. And yes, I do think that it's the same way with the Jets in 2022. I do think the Jets would have been a great team if they held on. Let's see. After the Bears game, it was Vikings. If Braxton Berrios caught the ball, 8-4. Let's see. The next week, I think it was Buffalo. The next week, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look it up real quick. I think it may have been Buffalo, actually. So if it was Buffalo, well, first I gotta see. So right now we're at 8-4 for the 2022 Jets. That's what we're at right now. So yeah, it was Bills. If we just stayed alive in that one, if Mike White didn't get hurt, I think we would have had a much better game. I'm still going to take the loss on this one, though. I do think we still would have been the Jets and lost. That's 8-5 for us. The next week against the Lions, if we just held them on 4th and inches or just got stopped them on other downs, that's 9-5. If we beat the Jaguars, yeah, I'm going to still say we took a loss to the Jaguars that are 9-6. Seahawks, that was a very winnable game, but we really just didn't. So that's 10-6. Dolphins could have beaten them too. That's 11-6 or 12 or 10-7. Either way, you could have gone with them that year. I say 11-6 for the Jets. They could have gone that year. Same with 2023. You know, a lot of people are saying like the Panthers or the Browns or the Lions are the most cursed teams in the league or the worst teams to be a fan of. However, I do think it is the New York Jets. Let's take a look at the past decade to see like why they're the most cursed. Obviously, they haven't been in the playoffs in 14 years. That's the biggest drought in U.S. sports history as of the moment. And then, 2012 didn't make the playoffs. Disappointing year. 2013 had Geno Smith, went 8-8, nearly made the playoffs. 2014 disappointing season. Rex Ryan's last year with the Jets went 4-12, missed the playoffs with Smith's second year. 2015 our starting quarterback got a broken jaw. So then Ryan Fitzpatrick had to take over, which, by the way, did very good that year. Last time a Jets quarterback has thrown over 30 touchdowns in a season for us. Through 31 that year, to be exact. Went 10-6. Should have made the playoffs that year, but unfortunately with the loss to Buffalo, which were unfortunately something to do with Buffalo. I forget if we lost to Buffalo or something happened. I know it was between Buffalo. I'll have to look back at it. We missed the playoffs because of Buffalo. And then 2016 went 5-11 with Fitzpatrick as our quarterback. Didn't do so well. That was his last year with us. 2017 new quarterback Josh McCown played with the Browns the season prior. Went 1-15 with them. Went 5-11 with us that year. No playoffs. Another disappointing season. The next year, Sam Darnold, and oh baby, this is where I started my channel. 2021 I started my channel, but this was my quarterback when I started the channel, right? 2018, Darnold, disappointing rookie season, although it was his rookie season. It was injured quite that year for a few games, 4-12, disappointing season. That's the last year for both Todd Bowles and the uniforms that year. We got new uniforms, new look, new coaches, new everything, new players. We got Le'Veon Bell. We got Jamison Crowder. We got everybody. We got Jamal Adams back. We're feeling good. We're feeling good that year. We got a good roster, new unis. Let's make it happen. 7-9. 7-9. But let's see. In the second half of the season, the Jets that year did go 6-2 in the second half. Could have had potential. That's exactly what I'm saying. Could have had potential. That 2019 team, if this is what I'm saying. This 2019 team had the potential to make the playoffs. They really did, but they did not. They didn't because they were incompetitive for the first half of the year, or incompetent for the first half of the year. But the second half of the year, they were unbelievable. 6-2, beating teams left and right. 3 straight wins. Arguably, you can say these teams were not that great, but a win's a win. You had the Giants, Redskins, and the Raiders. 3 straight weeks of pure butt whoopings. Pure butt whoopings. And then, the first game of the season against Buffalo, that should have been a win. We should not have sold that, Jets will jet. Luckily, we did beat them, though, in the last game of the season. We should have swept Buffalo that year. I'm being honest with you. We should have swept Buffalo that year, but we didn't. Because, like I said, Jets will jet. The next week, Jets lost to the Browns, 23-3 on Monday Night Football. First time we wore the black unis for New York. And Bell, I really think Bell, honestly, I don't know if this is a stretch or not. I think Bell, honestly, could still be here today if he really did work out with New York. I think that's a stretch. I think he would have left maybe at least a year ago. But if he worked out with us in 2020, actually, no, maybe not. Actually, if we still went 2-14 that year, I think Bell maybe would have requested a trade. But if we worked something out with him, we could have kept him for 20. I would say actually after the 2022 season, he would leave the Jets if he stayed with us. So this would have been our second or third season without him if he, things worked out with the Jets and Le'Veon Bell. But 2020, 2-14, Sam Darnold's last year. That was the season that I started Jack Talks Jets. That was the season that I thought Robert Saleh would see my videos and keep Sam Darnold because of me. I don't know how I thought of that. But I did actually put up some pretty good reasons. And I was right. I was right. Sam Darnold is balling out in Minnesota. I've said this from the very beginning. From the very, very beginning, it was because of the coaching. It was because of the front office. It was because of the conditions of the team. It was because of the environment. I've been saying this from day one, and I was right. Darnold is good under good coaching. Darnold is good. This is what I've been preaching. This is what I've been saying since day one. This is that I've started this channel. And I was right. And that's what made me question, what if we still had Sam Darnold today? What if Sam Darnold did end up becoming our franchise QB if Woody Johnson was patient? If Woody Johnson was just patient, or Joe Douglas was patient? I do think if this worked out with Robert Saleh in 2021, we would have at least gone 9-8 with that team this year, or that year, or 7-10 at the least, or 6-11 at the least, and 9-8 the most. 2022, if we saw a Darnold, we would have made the playoffs. That was a guaranteed playoff year in 2022. But you know what? The Jets jetted again. They jetted again. But I believe if Sam Darnold was under Robert Saleh or Mike LaFleur, I believe Darnold would have led the Jets to a 11-6 record that year. And the Jets very could have went 11-6 that year with Zach Wilson. They were having all of these quarterback problems, but yet they were 7-4 in Week 12. Does that not confuse anybody? You were 7-4 with quarterback problems, and arguably quarterback is the most important position in football. You had all these problems and you're still 7-4. If you had Sam Darnold, I would say the Jets had Sam Darnold that year under Mike LaFleur, under Robert Saleh, 11-6. We would never have crapped the bed because I feel like a big factor in that was the quarterback changes and the incompetent ways that we played. Defense was doing great, except for the 4th and inches play against Brock Bowers. Don't know what that was about. But I'm telling you, if we had Darnold, we would have made the playoffs in 2022. I guarantee we would have. And but we didn't. We got rid of him. We were impatient with him. I get he had a lot of flaws in 2020, but that doesn't mean you can't fix him. And he was still under his rookie contract too. So you could have given him at least one or two more years. And if he didn't play well after that, okay, trade him. I wouldn't be mad about that. But it's the fact that they gave up on him when they obviously knew, I don't know if they even knew, that he wasn't the problem. Just like now, Aaron Rodgers, people, of course he's not perfect like he's the 2020 or 2014, whatever it was, MVP season Rodgers. He's not going to be that. He's 41 years old. However, he is not the main problem of the team. If you see it, a prime example, if you watched the Rams game yesterday, it baffles me how Jeff Ulbrich will go for it instead of taking the 3 in a critical situation. If we went for field goals on all the drives that we went for fourth down in field goal range, that could have been sent to overtime. No, it would have been sent into overtime if we just kicked the field goals or got in the end zone. Because I remember there was this one drive yesterday where we were at like the 2-yard line and we couldn't score a touchdown. I don't know any other team in the NFL that can't do that. I honestly don't. I probably think, who's the worst? I think the Las Vegas Raiders or the New York Giants can even do that. And who do they have? Let's see, Tommy DeVito, a quarterback. Who's the Giants wide receiver one? Malik Neighbors, who's a rookie. Really? Who's their even starting running back? Is it Devin Singletary? I'm not dissing on these guys at all. Of course, I can't be talking. Of course I can't be talking. I'm a 15-year-old kid who plays high school football. I am not a NFL player. Of course I can't talk. I'm just mad about how we have the opportunities, but we can't take them when it matters most. And that's what frustrates me, and that's arguably why we're 4-11. That is exactly why we're 4-11 this year. Because we make critical mistakes in critical situations. That's why we're 4-11 right now. It just irritates me that this has been going on longer than I have been alive for. The last time we made the playoffs, I was 1.5 years old. 1.5 years old was the last time the New York Jets made the playoffs in January 2011. Or I was, almost 1.5 years old. It's crazy to me. I think I actually may be the only kid, right? The only real Jets fan, right, in my grade level. Or the only real NFL fan in my grade level that hasn't experienced their team making the playoffs. I am, because the Jets are the longest playoff drought in U.S. sports history at the moment. 14 years. 14 years was the last time that you could say the Jets were in the postseason. And they made it to the AFC Championship that year. That's why the Jets, I would say the New York Jets, this may be a little biased, but I would say the New York Jets are the most what-if team in NFL history. What if Namath didn't make the guarantee? Would we be cursed like people say that we are today? What if the Jets beat the Steelers in the 2010 AFC Championship? Would they have won the Super Bowl that year? What if the Jets beat the Colts in the 2009 AFC Championship? Would we have had 3 Super Bowl titles? What if the Jets beat the Broncos in the 1998 AFC Championship? Would that be 4 Super Bowl titles? What if the Jets kept Mark Sanchez around for a couple more years instead of drafting Geno Smith? Where would we be right now? Or where would they be back in 2013? Would they have made the postseason? Would they have made another AFC Championship appearance? We don't know. What if the Jets made the playoffs in 2015? We don't know. And I do think that 2015 team had the potential to be a Super Bowl team. I really do. I really think they do. They were competitive with New England that year, who was arguably the second best team in the AFC that year. We would have been competitive with Denver if we played them in the AFC divisional wildcard championship game. Either one of them. And let's see, who made the Panthers? I think we would have been competitive with Carolina. I do think we still would have lost to Carolina, though. 2016. What if Ryan Fitzpatrick worked out as a franchise QB for us? Would he have been the QB for us up until 2020, 2019, 2021? Who knows? What if Sam Darnold worked out for us? Would he be the franchise quarterback like I just discussed a few minutes ago? Absolutely. What if Zach Wilson worked out for us? What if Mike White worked out for us? All of these things. What if Rodgers never tore his Achilles? What if the Jets made the playoffs in 2023? What if the Jets made the playoffs in 2024? So many what ifs I just said in a matter of minutes. That is why I think this team is the biggest what-if team in NFL history. And it irritates me so bad that it's just frustrating, at this point. Um, I can't, bear with it anymore. But it's just not that great to be a Jets fan. That's all I should say. Anyways, guys, my stream software is bugging again. I will get this fixed tonight. I know what the issue is. I just researched it just now, actually, as I was on here. But I will do that tonight. Hopefully, I'll go live over the break, over holiday break, maybe after Christmas, the day after Christmas, something like that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and a recap video should be coming out tomorrow, probably on Christmas Eve. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this live stream, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you